I've spent a lot of my life getting dirty, working in sewers, on crab boats, and halfway up bridges. In all those places, I've met people who work hard. But I've noticed something. The folks who really get ahead don't just know how to do a job. They know people. Studies say up to 85% of jobs are filled through networking. Most opportunities aren't posted online. They're passed from one person to another, like a well-kept secret. This isn't just theory. It's reality on the ground. The world runs on connections. Who you know doesn't just open doors, it shows you where the doors are. Real wealth is built on relationships, trust, opportunity, and the ability to provide for your family. So, if 85% of the game is happening behind the scenes, are you even in the game? Networking isn't about being a smooth talker. It's about making sure the right people hear what you have to say. Let me tell you about Frank, a welder who was darn good at his job. For years he worked for a small fabrication shop, making a decent wage but never really getting ahead. One day the shop owner brought in a structural engineer to consult on a tricky project. Frank pointed out a small design flaw that would have caused problems down the line. The engineer was impressed and took Frank's name and number. A year later, Frank gets a call. It's the engineer. A massive new commercial building project was starting, and they needed a lead welding inspector. The engineer recommended Frank for the job. It was a life-changing opportunity. He didn't go to a networking event, he just did his job well and made a single valuable connection. Then there's Maria, a graphic designer living in a small town. She started joining online forums for software she used, not to sell herself, but to learn and help others. She became a known, helpful voice in that community. One day, a project manager from a big tech company posted a question about a software bug. Maria knew the workaround and spent an hour writing up a detailed solution. A week later, he sent her a private message offering freelance design work. Today, Maria runs her own design agency with a roster of national clients, all because she chose to be helpful in the right place at the right time. When people hear the word networking, they often picture something awful. They imagine a crowded room full of people in suits, forcing smiles and trading business cards. That's not networking. That's just annoying. Smart networking is the opposite of that. It's not about what you can get, it's about what you can give. It's about building genuine two-way relationships based on mutual respect and helpfulness. Think of it like this. Smart networking is about planting trees, not just picking fruit. When you go with the mindset of learning about other people, you're planting a tree. You're building something for the long term. Smart networking is also about quality over quantity. Having 500 connections on a social media site that you don't really know is useless. It's far better to have 5 or 10 solid professional relationships with people you trust and who trust you. A business card collection is not a network. A network is a group of people who would take your call. Smart networking is playing the long game. It's about being authentic and showing genuine curiosity about other people and their work. It's about being a decent, helpful human being who also happens to be good at what they do. All right, so where do you start? It can feel overwhelming. The first step is the simplest, and it doesn't even involve talking to strangers. It's about taking stock of who you already know. Start listing people, former coworkers, old bosses, clients, or customers you had a good relationship with. This is your existing network. You're not starting from zero. Once you have that list, your next job is simple. Reach out. Not to ask for anything, just to reconnect. Send a simple email or a text message, something like, "Hey name, it's been a while." Most people will be happy to hear from you. It's a small act of maintenance. Now, let's talk about expanding beyond the people you already know. The key is to go where your people are. Are you a plumber? Go to a trade show for plumbing suppliers. Are you a software developer? Find a local or online meetup for a programming language you use. Don't go with a stack of resumes. Go with a curious mind. Your goal is to have 2 or 3 genuine conversations and learn something new. When you're there, how do you start a conversation without feeling awkward? It's easier than you think. Ask a question. People generally like to talk about themselves and share their opinions. Listen to their answer. Ask a follow-up question. Before you know it, you're having a conversation. You're not networking. You're just talking to another person who shares a professional interest. That's the whole secret. So you've had a good conversation, you've met someone interesting, and you've swapped contact information. Now what? This is the part where most people drop the ball. They have a pocket full of business cards that end up in a desk drawer, never to be seen again. The most critical step in building a real connection is the follow-up, and you need to do it within 24 to 48 hours. A short, simple email is perfect. Your follow-up email should remind them who you are, add value, and open the door for future contact. This turns a single meeting into the beginning of a professional relationship. You're not closing a deal, you're opening a door. It's a low-pressure way to keep the connection alive and build a foundation of goodwill. Remember, this is a long-term process. You can't expect every new contact to turn into a job offer. The point is to build a web of loose ties with good people in your field. By consistently being a helpful, reliable, and interested contact, you build a reputation. Networking used to mean meeting at the local diner or union hall. Now, most of it happens online. You don't have to live in a big city to connect with people everywhere, but you have to be smart about it. An empty profile is like a closed-down storefront. Fill it out, show what you do. Don't just scroll, participate. Join groups, like posts, leave thoughtful comments, share helpful articles or answer questions when you can. When connecting, add a personal note. It shows you care. That's how you build real professional relationships, even through a screen. A lot of people think networking is a game for extroverts. They think you have to be the life of the party, a natural-born talker. That's just not true. Introverts often have a secret superpower. They are fantastic listeners. If you're a quiet person, don't try to be someone you're not. Play to your strengths. Focus on one-on-one conversations instead of trying to work a whole room. Your goal isn't to talk to 20 people. Your goal is to have 1 or 2 meaningful conversations. What if your challenge isn't shyness but geography? This is where the internet becomes your best friend. You can be an active, valued member of a professional community from your living room, but don't neglect your local community either. You might be surprised who's in your own backyard. Building relationships with local people can lead to opportunities you never would have known about. It's about building a reputation not just in your industry, but in your community. Building a network is like building a stone wall. You don't do it in a day. It's slow, steady work. And sometimes it feels like you're not making any progress. This is the point where most people give up. But this is exactly when you need to keep going. The benefits of a strong network don't show up overnight. They accumulate over time. The key is to maintain the connections you've made. This doesn't mean you have to bother people every week. Just find light, easy ways to stay on their radar. Eventually, the time will come when you do need to ask for something. Because you've spent months or even years building a relationship, this conversation is completely different. You're not a stranger asking for a handout. You're a trusted contact asking for help. When you reach out, be specific. This is when the magic happens. A person in your network might not have a job for you directly, but they might know someone who does. They might make an introduction. That introduction is gold. It's a personal recommendation that lets you bypass the anonymous online application portal. This is how the 85% of jobs are filled. It's not magic. It's the result of the slow, steady, patient work of building and maintaining real human connections over time. At the end of the day, your skills matter. Your work ethic matters. No amount of networking can make up for shoddy work or a bad attitude. But the world is full of skilled, hard-working people who feel invisible and stuck. The difference between them and the ones who get ahead is often the work they do after the actual work is done. It's the time they invest in building relationships. Don't think of this as a chore. Think of it as part of your job. Just like you maintain your tools, you have to maintain your relationships. The path to wealth and stability isn't a ladder you climb all by yourself. It's a web you build with other people. The good news is that anyone can do this. You don't need a fancy degree or a trust fund. You just need a willingness to be curious, to be helpful, and to be patient. These are the first stones you lay in your foundation. Keep laying them, one by one, day by day, and before you know it, you'll have built something solid. If you found this advice helpful and want more straight talk about work and opportunity, I'd be obliged if you'd subscribe.